Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to The Why Teacher. It's been a while since we connected and I'm really happy to be back. The reason why I was absent was because I was working with the Literature Festival. So I recently attended the Emirates Airline Festival of Literature in Dubai. And even though the festival is over, I wanted to create this episode solely dedicated to what the festival offered teachers, children and educators. And it was quite fascinating to actually think what would a classroom look like if it was structured in a similar manner as the festival, where a child could actually enter into any classroom that offered, discussion on a topic of their interest, and they were allowed to ask all the questions in the world. And, what a difference that would make to what we are doing in schools today and how we look at reading and books today. So let's look at what the festival offered. So number one for me was diversity. I really loved the diverse program and the fact that these poets and authors came from across the globe. They brought in with them their culture, they brought in with them their way of thinking, and the fact that we, the UAE, the Emiratis and the expatriates sitting there together, being able to ask them their questions opened up so many avenues for thinking. And I think it was a beautiful example of what diversity truly is. Also the fact that, you could be a fiction lover, a non-fiction lover, you could be somebody who loves poetry or prose, you want to just improve your creative writing skills and you want to attend a creative writing workshop, you want to do art and you just want to look at photography or live cooking. I mean, everything was there. And the sight that really warmed up my heart, and I think it's going to stay with me forever, is the visual of a sign language interpreter, being present at the sessions, translating everything for our people of determination, and for them to be able to stand up and ask their questions was truly inclusive for me. And so what the Literature Festival offered as a highlight for me, I think, was diversity and inclusion. So the second highlight for me was the Fringe area. The Fringe was the space where unlimited action was happening. And it was that space where schools could bring in their children who could showcase their talents in the form of singing or dancing or drama or poetry. And the very fact that children liven up every space, and there was laughter, it was never quiet in that area. So you never found that space empty. It was always busy. There was always something happening, one school coming in, one leaving. And it was free for all. So audience could enter, they could sit down, they could witness all of these children having a gala time. So for me, that space was wonderful. Also the fact that in between, there would be these short storytelling sessions. So whether your child was 6 months old or 1 year old or 7 years old, you could find them sitting on that beanbag listening to those storytellers so intently. And how wonderful to start at that age, how wonderful to be, to be exposed to that kind of storytelling sessions at that age. I think that the Fringe for me was a beautiful experience. The next highlight for me was, of course, the very creatively carved questions that revolved around the theme of the festival, which was what will tomorrow look like. So whether it was contributed through history or through, faith or technology, these were some very pertinent questions that needed answers. And so one of the panel sessions that I attended was Faith in the Modern World, and it had such a prolific panel, which comprised of Geelong Thuptain, Omar Saif Gobash, Mitch Albom, and Leslie Hazelton. And when you have these four people sitting at the panel and discussing, it was a full house. People talked about spirituality, people talked about easy access to religious information and how that could be manipulated in the world today, and how politics has come into religion, and so many important, pertinent questions. It was so wonderful to be a part of that thinking process, because I feel like when we talk about tolerance and acceptance, that was one session that truly opened up my eyes to what the world is going to look like tomorrow, and how important it is for us to become informed about, asking the right questions. Another great contribution from the festival, I think, would be the education on sustainability, considering the fact that it was a no plastic zone and people were encouraged to bring in their own bottles and go to the water filters for refills, was a fantastic step taken by the festival. and the fact that they had encouraged people to come in and attend such wonderful sessions, such as the one by author and activist Jane Goodall. It was another great opener for the festival, which had so many children asking questions about, how they could become more active in taking care of the earth and taking care of animals in particular. Then there was, of course, the Green Poet, who is Martin Kisco. Children loved that session where he talked about 5 ways of, taking care of the earth. We had Kate Humble, we had Bosch, we had the Green Sheikh. So what I'm trying to say is that, these are the important aspects that people often, wonder about, that people have questions about, and the fact that people got the opportunity to get answers in the form of attending these really wonderful sessions with such prolific authors from across the world was one of the greatest achievements of the LitFest. And I think that being a part of that experience truly taught me as an educator that, there's so much to change in education, that we need to change the way we structure our classrooms, the way we, have decided what education is all about. I think education is just about being able to ask the right questions and be able to get those answers from people from diverse backgrounds. And so to wrap it up, it was fantastic to be a part of the Festival of Literature. And I would say that, as educators and as owners of schools, you need to be a part of these spaces where these important discussions are happening about tomorrow. What does tomorrow look like is a relevant question for all of us. And I think that we should all become a part of the solution, and to do so we have to get together, and spaces like literary festivals provide you with that opportunity. So next time you have a literary festival, be a part of it.